Alright guys, so we are starting Medea, whichever way you would like to pronounce it today. We're jumping straight in. Our first thing we are going to be doing is looking at Greek theatre and the conventions of Greek theatre, what it was like, what happened there, all those kind of fun things. So first up we have the timeline. So the ancient Greek theatre really flourished in the 5th and 4th centuries BC. And I would write some of it down, yes.
PowerPoint will be on compass, so I wouldn't be writing exactly the words that are up there, but if there's something that you say that's not on there, yes, you should be writing it down, or if you need to help yourself understand that. For example, when was BC?
Before Christ.
And what do we now call it? Before Common Era.
Yes.
It's actually,
Yes, it's
We are
before Common Era
currently
now.
in AD. Not everyone believes in Christ.
what if you did before?
You can.
You certainly can. It's your choice. Okay, so during this time, Greece was defeating the Persians in numerous wars. So Greece was a country that was at war.
Does anyone know where Persia is? What do we call it now? Iran.
Huh?
Iran.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay, so Athens became the center of Greek power and culture. Anyone been to Athens? You wish.
Yeah, we're all British.
Has
We're all
anyone
rich.
heard that our current democracy does come from Greek? We have that sort of idea, we have this Greek democracy. Yes? Okay.
Okay.
So this particular time is where the Greeks, they thought they were it and a bit, and they were the best examples of democracy in the whole world, and so they were better than everybody else because they were so good at democracy.
So during this time, it's known as classical Greece. Okay? That's when they're at the top and they are doing the best for our societies. So much of our thinking, our politics, our philosophy comes from this time, and a lot of it still transcends to this day. We've got the origins of Greek theatre. Okay, so with the beginnings of drama and all that kind of thing in Greece, we had it performed at these village festivals, and then when it moved to Athens, it became this big event that happened once a year, and it was a big competition. So we had the dramatists who were asked to submit some plays to enter this competition, and they had to submit 4 plays to enter, and they had to have 3 tragedies and a comedy. Okay? And they were performed across 3 days. There'd be a prize on the 3rd day for the winner, and this was the greatest honour one could have in Athens. Yes? Why was the priority for tragedy? Why do you think? Just a general answer. Why do you think they might prioritise tragedy over comedy? Anyone? Why do you think tragedy was more popular than comedy in asking for 3 tragedies and 1 comedy? Comment.
I was going to say, what makes a story?
What makes a story is that there's a problem. Yeah, Brent?
I think maybe because
They were at war, so
about the time now when people are relating more.
so they're talking about things that are relatable to them. Yep. Adele, is that you? You're just putting your... Okay. Anyone else got any ideas as to why tragedy might be more popular? Because people love tragedies?
But
Yeah.
why do we love them? What do they show? What do they show us, about our lives? They could make our lives seem better, but they also allow us to explore different things that are happening in the world. They push us to see different aspects and to comment and discuss society a little bit.
So whilst we can do that with comedy, it's often more clearly seen in our tragedies and our high dramas. Alright, we have the staging. So Greek theatres were always outdoors. Always. And the stage consisted of an orchestra for the chorus and a stage for the actors. So has anyone here been to the theatre?
Or the ballet or anything like that.
Anything like that?
Like a normal theatre.
Oh,
Like a normal theatre where you've seen a show? Yes? So have we seen where they have an orchestral pit down the front? That would be where your chorus would stand, and then you'd have the stage with the actors.
Yes.
All right.
So a lot of our current theatre is modelled exactly the same way, and it was outside, so it was in like a hill or a valley. So the top seats were at the top of the hill, and they were dug into the hill. So it went down, and the pit down here is where the play was. And an outside theatre, does anyone know what that's called? An amphitheatre. Okay, and the way it's circled around, it's designed to catch all the noise so you can hear, because they didn't have microphones, they didn't have electricity, so it was all to catch the noise in that theatre. And so now our current theatres, if you go to watch a musical, you see there's top seats, yes, and then it comes down in tiers. So it's modelled the same way. Some of our words come from that same particular, from that word origin. So we've got an orchestra now. Is it actually a group of singers, or is it the band playing instruments now? It's the band playing instruments, yes? Okay, but that's where the word came from.
So if anyone's ever been to like Sydney Myer Music Bowl, has anyone been there? No?
Do what?
Sydney Myer Music Bowl. It's an outdoor amphitheatre, comes out onto the grass down a hill. So it's an example of that. If you ever go there, you'll see the same kind of thing.
If you see it on TV, the Christmas carols on Christmas Eve, they're outside. That's at the Myer Music Bowl.
Yep. So we had the stage. We also had a scene that was introduced, which was a backdrop or wall that stood behind the stage. So it's a big old backdrop. That later they turned this into a stone construct, and it's where we have the proscenium today. That's where it comes from. Okay, and these theatres, as Mr. Jamie White said, were constructed to maximise the acoustics because we didn't have microphones. So it was big voices on the stage, making sure they could reach as far as possible. So here's a bit of a picture of what their stages used to look like. You can see how they're coming down in that sloping fashion. You've got the stage and you've got the pit down the bottom.
Has anyone ever been to Europe and you've seen ruins of any European city, Rome or
TV.
on TV? Yeah, but so it's all made of stones and things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to do a lot of hard work to get this happening.
So the pit is for the orchestra. In that one, I think.
Down here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Theo?
I was just asking what were the numbers and the letters.
So the numbers and letters give you the names.
Of certain things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
See?
language is that?
Greek.
So here's another image of what it might have looked like. You've got your orchestra pit, you've got your scene, you've got your stage. And these
Some
are
of these words you are going to be learning because they are relevant to Greek tragedy. So the rest of this period we're looking at some of the language that goes with this. And you need to use some of the language that goes with this particular play because this is our meta language. So when you're writing your essay, you need to say, if you're talking about a particular part of the play or an element of the play, you need to use the correct language. Okay, so we will be looking at some of the language. If we don't teach you the language, it's not necessary for you to know it. Okay?
we're
What's
just
the
gonna,
essay going to be about?
About Medea, and we might say, is she horrible? And you have to write about, yes she is, or no she's not. Or, you know, she had every right to kill her children, yes she did, no she... So we'll just make up some topics and you have to answer them.
Alright, so we're on to the actors now. So originally in Greek theatre, the plays were just made up of the chorus, who would be generally in that orchestra pit, and there would be 50 speakers who would tell a story in verse. So what's verse? Who can tell me? Anyone?
Let me see verse. In singing? In songs?
Yeah?
Sometimes what happens in songs? Like you're writing a song, what do you sometimes try and make happen? Maybe rhyming, or it has a pattern or a rhythm or something. Yep.
Alright, and so this traditional drama that they began to do, it began with an actor named Thespis, who had the idea for one person to break out from this chorus and respond to what they were saying and really start delving into that conversational kind of thing. So that's why we call actors thespians, because of our dear friend Thespis. So if you've heard that term, now you know where it comes from.
Has anyone heard the word thespian? So, yep, so it's what we call, it's a more professional word for actors.
Okay, so this chorus quickly shrank from 50 to 15, and we had 3 actors broken out of that who were performing on the stage. So you had your 15 chorus and your 3 actors, and that became the kind of basis.
And if we
Well,
think,
can you get back a second?
if you think now, if we're having and we've got a musical happening at the school, you have some main actors, and you have some people who are in the chorus, and they're the group who'll be joined together to really present a particular point of view, or show an emotion, or get some action moving forward. So the chorus is important, but they are not singular. They are working together as a group.
Am I all good to move on from this slide?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so the chorus would generally narrate the drama and comment on what was going on. It was their job to kind of give the audience reaction and the questions the audience might ask as well. So if you're sitting there thinking what's going to happen next, the chorus might sing something along the lines of what's going to happen next, or predict what might happen. It follows the same kind of role as the audience, but also narrates it. And you've got your actors who would be performing numerous roles. So there might not just be 3 roles in a play. There might be several, and the actors would change between these roles.
In this particular play, the chorus take on a type of character as well, so it's important that you're aware of what character they're representing, or which group they're representing, and how they don't necessarily just make comment, but they're actually sort of acting a bit like a judge, like they're casting judgment as well. So Euripides used the features of the Greek theatre and modified them to suit his own purpose. So that's important to know, that he used it to suit his own purpose.
So we have to understand these traditions of Greek theatre to understand how Euripides subverts them, because he does do it on a number of occasions in this play.
So what's an important word you should write down that Miss Latchford just said? Subverts. Okay, and what does subverts mean?
What was that? Subvert.
S-U-B-V-E-R-T. Subvert. So if you subvert something, what are you doing? Sorry? Redirecting, that's on the right track. It's more flipping, yes. So we expect this, and this is the rule, but instead he sort of changes the rules and does this a little bit.
So, reading.
Well, you can almost say he's disobeying the rules, but really he's just
But with a
altering and
purpose.
just doing.
So,
just
subvert is
changing
just
it.
disobeying.
No. In this case, you could say it's disobeying, but he's really flipping what you expect to occur. So if we were to say every actor would take 4 steps on the stage and then stop and do a little dance, he might have them only doing 1 step. And so the audience is expecting 4 steps in a dance, and suddenly after 1 step as a dance, they're a bit shocked, and he uses that shock to help them have different reactions. It's that you're using the audience's expectation of what's going to occur. You use that against them to make them have a different reaction.
Alright, so does anyone who's maybe studied theatre, even in the lower year levels, know how we changed characters in Greek theatre?
Costumes.
Masks and who said costumes? Alright. Masks and costumes. So the actors would change roles by using masks, and they would be made of things like wood, linen, leather, cork, all kinds of things, and they would have human hair, animal hair as wigs. Okay? So we'd have a really wide mouth on the mask to make sure we could still hear the actor's voice, because if you're covering it like this, you can't really hear them. Okay, so they had to be wide so you could hear them.
Sometimes the mask also did act like one of those projector things, megaphones.
Yes.
Okay, so see, suddenly now it's projected because it's pointed the tone somewhere else. So the masks act like that as well.
And so these masks, they were designed to show things like age, gender, emotion. You might be familiar with what some of these look like. You may have seen them before. So you've got the pretty popular smiling one and this popular sad face one that represent drama a lot of the time. Lucy.
Oh, yeah, we did one for that.
Yeah.
They were the pointy ones, miss? Or is that in Venice or something?
That's in Venice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these ones, because they didn't have females on stage acting, so if they had a female character, they would show a female character through the mask and the costumes.
Right, am I good to move on from this slide, guys?
And we don't have to write every word on the slide, you will have access to the slides.
Alright, so we had the costumes as well as the masks. They would often wear robes in striking colours that would represent different characters, and so different colours might represent different things. So for example, we would have purple as a colour for royalty. We would have trailing robes, so robes falling behind you for grief. And you had a hat that signified a character was going on a journey. So these kind of things were indicators to the audience what was happening with that character, what role they played in society, and what they might do in this production.
So, Miss, you know how to have that excursion? Where is it in the city?
Dandenong.
Yeah, like, are they gonna have like? Is it gonna be like what it was back then?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I guess we'll wait and see. It'll be a journey. When? It's in May.
How many spots are left?
I believe Mrs. Davy White checked last week and there were 30 spots left. So if you haven't paid for that, is there 30 spots left for that excursion, Mrs. Davy White?
I can log on and check,
Yeah.
but there was when I last checked.
30
Yeah.
last time, yeah. So if you haven't paid, get in to see it because it will help you immensely.
I can check if you paid.
What was that?
Alright, let's move on to the chorus. So the chorus is one of the most famous relics of Greek theatre. It's something that lasts to this day. You see it in various plays, whether they're Greek tragedies or comedies or modern plays. Okay?
Wait,
So
what's a chorus, Miss?
the chorus is that group of people who would be presenting...
Well, that's in the book, yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, it's a play, but yes.
Say alternatively a play.
Yes. So their purpose is to speak in unison as one voice together, okay? When we look at this play though, they are speaking as a group, okay? So they're not just representing one person, they're representing a group of people in this play.
And
Okay.
last year when we went to see the play, they only had 2 people playing the chorus. So don't be tricked into thinking, oh, it's actually just 2 ladies or 2 characters or whatever it is. Why would they only have 2 people in the play that we go see? It's too expensive to pay extra actors. It's a simple answer, that's all it is. Yes,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Then why is this so expensive?
Because these are human beings who have jobs and need to be paid to feed their
You
families.
gotta eat, man.
And there's a bus we can.
45, it's $45, isn't it? 45?
45.
Yeah, 45.
We're busing.
No, we're busing there.
We're negotiating that another time.
Alright, so guys, the chorus does still stick around. For example, in the production we're doing this year at the school, we have a chorus of girls who represent one voice, but they are a group, okay? So the same thing, it still exists in modern theatre. The chorus is going to comment on what's happening. They will express an opinion, they'll cast a judgment, they'll narrate the story, and sometimes you have an individual step forward from the chorus to speak, okay? So that's what you need to be keeping an eye out for in this play. What judgments are they making? What opinions do they have? So the chorus would also represent a group of people within the context of the play. So that's really important for this play. Who do the chorus represent? Can anyone remember off the top of their heads?
The women of Corinth. Good.
The women of Corinth. Fantastic.
Wait, look, give back.
Remember, if we're copying notes off this slide, you have the slide.
It is on Compass.
Yeah, I think.
Alright, so the chorus would wear plain masks and plain robes to distinguish them from the main actors, so they would generally look pretty boring compared to your main stars who might look a bit more flamboyant or colourful. And their function is the oral, not the visual. They are there to be a voice, not there to be something that you're constantly looking at, okay? They would stay in that orchestra while the actors remained on stage. And now we're up to the summary. So this is basically what we've gone through. When Greek theatre started and when it flourished. Where the stages were, they were outdoors and they were sat in a semicircle around. We've got 3 actors and 15 members of a chorus. And the chorus narrates and comments and speak in unison. And our masks and costumes were used to distinguish between the actors' roles. So pretty simple stuff. All pretty understandable, correct? Do we all get it? Does it all make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Alright. Would you like me to display the other notes?